So ultimately, we get back from this trip. There's no new peace talks in the Middle East. There's no new commitment to increase oil production in the Gulf. So what was the point of this trip?
I just read out earlier, Peter, of all of the things that had occurred, some of the do-outs or some of the things that we were able to get done during this trip. All are issues that are important to the American family. And so as it relates to the oil production, I talked about, and Jared talked about what OPEC Plus did early in June. We are confident that we will be able to measure how the success of those conversations that the president had in the next several weeks.
Why not insist on a commitment, though? He gets back with no commitment, and the price of oil per barrel shot up. Is that what the president wanted, to go there and have the price of oil more expensive?
But again, we have seen gas prices go down in the past 34 straight days.
Aren't they still $2 a gallon higher than when you guys took office, though?
First of all, we have to look at the impact of how we got there, right? You think about. So there are outside factors that has led to gas prices going up, to food prices going up, to inflation going up. So that is really important. What the president is going to continue to do the work to make sure the prices go down. I'm going to continue, Peter. Thank you.
Highlight these prices being down, but many industry analysts think that this could be just a temporary reprieve, that these prices could very well be going up again, maybe even in the fall. Oil was trading above $100 today. How concerned is the administration that oil and gas prices could be on the upswing again in the short term?
So, look, the president is going to continue to do everything that he can to make sure that like Jared said, we're not doing a victory lap, but this is important. This is important to note that the work that we have done, the work that we will continue to do, is going to give relief, $25 a month to American families. And so, look, what we're looking at is what we're seeing currently, what we're seeing at this moment, and I think it's important to lift that up. And
formula, the recent data indicates that more than 20% of formula products are still out of stock. Just wondering what the White House's assessment is right now, why that is the case, particularly given that we've seen, for weeks now, a ton of formula being flown into the country. And does it have a sense of when things will actually start to normalize?
So I'll say this: the federal government has worked in lockstep with private sector to ramp up domestic production and to increase the supply of safe, and that's our priority here. But also making sure that we're doing everything that we can to get that out. This is a priority, continues to be a priority for us. We're going to do everything that we can to increase production, but again, we want to make sure that the safety is first.
Jared was just talking about the broader reconciliation bill, which would have increased taxes on the wealthy, and he said this is not something that he views as inflationary. You guys have talked about how this would reduce the deficit. So with Senator Manchin saying his exact concern with doing a bill like this is inflation, does the White House regard that claim as credible?
So I'll say this: we have heard from economic experts out there. We have heard from even Jason Furman, folks who are critical of us, who have said said the opposite, that the president's plan on reconciliation will actually bring down inflation, an anti-inflation bill, if you will. And if you look at when you bring down the deficit, as you all know, that actually will help inflation. So look, I'll lead you to the expert. I am not an economic expert, but they have said themselves this is an anti-inflation bill, and it will help.
I don't really see Senator Manchin's claim that inflation is why he pumped the brakes on it as a credible claim.
I am not a spokesperson for Senator Joe Manchin. As you know, I am a spokesperson for the President of the United States. And what I can tell you is what experts have said, economic experts have said, and so that's where I will send you.
You spoke earlier about the president's contingency plan regarding taking executive actions on climate. But do you believe the president can still keep the commitments he made to world leaders on reducing emissions through executive actions if Congress fails to act?
So we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that we are taking action on the climate crisis. And so, again, the president has, I think Jared read this already, but just want to reiterate what he said. From day one, the president finalized regulations to rapidly phase out super pollutants.
And that there's no timeline on the administration taking action. But does the administration have an executive order or executive plans ready, or does there need to be a process to consult, to plan? I mean, how far along are you in the process? I mean, how have you been preparing for this?
So I don't have a timeline for you at this time, is what I was trying to say. Look, I'm not going to comment on any specific action. I don't want.
Has the administration been in the process of preparing for this type of contingency?
I'm not getting ahead of the policy process.
Senator Manchin and the energy provisions. He said on the radio on Friday that he didn't tell Senator Schumer that he was out on the energy and climate provisions, just that he wanted to see another month of inflation data. So if it's such a crisis that the president is bent on dealing with, the climate crisis, why not wait another month to see what the inflation data, which the administration thinks will be better, look like, and see if you can get Senator Manchin on board for legislation? Is the president effectively saying he doesn't believe that the odds are good of that happening?
Is the president is ready to act if needed?
Well, because in his statement he said he wants a bill by August, which would seem to rule out waiting for Senator Manchin.
Well, look, the process is still happening. We are, what is today, July? I don't even know, July 18th. And so we're going to let...
Do you have any reason to believe that you didn't waste your time trying to get Senator Manchin on board for any sort of climate legislation?
I'm just not going to get into private conversations.